Well, hello traders and investors. I'm L.A. Little and this is your daily NeoTA wrap. We take a look at these markets and we're doing it from a neoclassical perspective. That means we're looking at supply and demand on the charts. We're using that to determine timing direction. I do this show 4 times a week, every Monday through Thursday. Broadcast at before 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Archived on YouTube. It's under the channel L.A. Little, and if you haven't subscribed and you want to, you can reach up in the right hand corner, and anytime I push public content you'll get a notification. Let's look at the numbers before we go to the charts. And what do we got today? We got a pretty decent day up. In Europe proper, 1.6 on the DAX, the CAC's up 1%. If you're looking here at the S&P 500, 0.5% on it. NYSE barely up on the Dow. Dow wasn't up that much. NDX, Russell was the leader, of course, 1.8. That's been the strongest. NDX actually did okay as well as the Nasdaq. What you're seeing is the industrials, these things that have pushed so far so fast, right? They're out of gas. You can't go straight up forever, and they're starting to take a rest. That's what you're seeing here. And somewhat here on the S&P, and you're seeing the others start to kick in again. Now, the Russell, of course, underperformed for, oh my goodness, years. Starting to outperform now. Whether that can continue, I'm not sure, but they did have an outperformance again today. If I look elsewhere, gold down again today. Oil was up. The oil stocks were up, OIH, the XLE, and so forth. We'll look at those. Overall, not a bad day. A matter of fact, a pretty good day. And what I was amazed at is I just pulled up the charts here to get started. I can't believe that's how much volume we had today, but that looks like that was the volume. If that's true, I don't think that's a very good thing on a balance, right? Now, the thing it did do today, which is positive, and I'm kind of looking at these charts the first time with you because I was out pretty much everything after late morning, is it did get over this bar, right, and got into the high volume bar. Thing is as it gets up here to try to test that top, assuming it gets up there, I think it's going to run into trouble if this is all the volume is really pushing. That's the S&P. Let's take a look at the others, see what their volumes look like, and see what they tell us. So let me pop into indexes. Where are you? There you are. And let's see what these guys have. So that was the S&P. Let's look at the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq outperformed today. Let's see how it did on volume. Not much volume either, so I guess those volumes are true. So less volume here. Okay, so we're going to have, one of the things you can do is, we know that this is a weaker index, or has been, primarily because big cap tech's been getting sold. And then you had the stocks get sold as well last week. We know it's weaker, and so when it comes back, right, it's going to have the test at a lower level, and they're going to be key tests. And this is the key test right here on these two bars. Didn't quite hit it today. That top is 52.38 on that bar. The bottom here is 53. No, it's not 53. Yeah, 53.23, 53.26. So 23 to 26. And we got as high as 21. My guess is that we'll try to get back into it tomorrow. If we're not pushing any more volume and we don't get over it, I suspect we're going to fail right there, and that's going to be the first one that probably rolls if it's going to roll. Now, the risk always on a trade, like this, is that you come up, you get a failed bounce, you get an ABCD structure to the downside. I don't know that that's going to be the case, but that's always a risk that's on the table anytime you come off the top and you get a bounce. Now, it's more pronounced in the Nasdaq, so you can see it cleanly. The other thing is interesting, this level, notice that this level is that breakdown bars level as well. And so you've got some serious resistance coming right back into this spot. So let's see how I think that's the key one to watch tomorrow, given what I see here so far. Let's see what the NDX looks like. So on the NDX, what do we got here? So the NDX trades, see the index is still And I don't think we got total volumes in here because I know this one's not right. So maybe we have more volume. Let me go see if I can find that. So I popped over here just into another package real quick just to see what's there, the stock charts. And the volume was light comparatively, but not as light as I'm showing. So I didn't get the ending numbers yet. They'll probably come in here a little bit. But anyway, lighter, volume a little heavier than Friday, but nothing horrible, but nothing good either. Let me see if the NDX, because that's the one, not the NDX, but the IXIC. Let's see what that. I think that's this symbol comp. And what do we got here for volume? A little less volume. Yeah, so this volume here looks the same. So that looks to me like that's going to be an issue, a problem. So NDX, not much of a bounce, inside bar. I don't know what that really tells us anything. It had that reversal that we talked about, or actually that I talked about to members. I didn't do a show on Friday. On the weekend broadcast, I was telling the members this one was giving us an attempt to pop back to the top side. Let's see what the Russell looks like. And Russell, if I don't have the ending numbers here, so I don't have volumes at all. So yeah, now look at this one. So the top here, this big volume bar here, the top of that one is 1337.33. You got the 38 closed just over it. So Nasdaq tomorrow, this one tomorrow, the key test, right? Can this one get up? Can it get over this high and stay over it? Can it actually just get over this? Well, it's already over it. Can it stay over this tomorrow, right? Without some sort of a pullback. Now, if you look on the strongest stock index and look at the ABC there, right? Very different ABCD structure than what we just looked at. And matter of fact, that one is going to bring you right down into a support zone, assuming it's, the top is here, the C point. It would bring you right into that support zone that we were talking about last week. So I like the way it looks. I just think we need to do some resting, and I think that's probably what's going to happen in these markets, just looking at the indexes. If I pop over, I think some of the sectors also probably showing us the same sort of exhaustion. I'm going to look at basic materials. This is one that we've been long. We sold into the strength today on this one. I suspect the ABCD looks done here. Maybe there's a little more to go, but when you get the majority of the move, there's no sense in sitting there and trying to beg for the last few pennies. So that was one that looks like it's extended. Let's see what the financials did. They were strong at the end of the day, but they looked exhausted during the day before I took off. And you got you got a failure here at the high, right there, right? So you go over it, you get back under it, you got less volume. That one's going to try to pull back. So financials, basic materials, technology now is going to have to step up, right? Because the two big sectors that haven't performed greatly, technology's one. This one could bump a little bit higher tomorrow. The other one that really needs to step up is discretionary. They were starting to get a move, last week. We got into these guys, got a big part of this run, and that one looks pretty good today. That doesn't look bad at all. And the other one that would really help if it could turn is healthcare, but healthcare, this looks like death warmed over, and today again looks the same. So I do believe we're seeing the same sort of thing here that I was just talking about on the indexes, and that is that we're going to see this market try to pull back. What a run on the transports. Huge run there. World markets. One of the things that I told I do a Swiss show too, and I was telling the Swiss folks is that they were primed to try to pop higher given the way they were set up when I was doing their show this weekend. And I'll show you what I was talking about there, and we'll see how they performed today as well. I know they were up, but I don't know how much. They came off the top again here. So Switzerland was popping back into this kind of dividing zone. Not so much a dividing zone, but this big bar up off the November elections. And then this is the other piece of it, right? And so they got right in there, and look at where they closed. So you close here, that low is 7864. They close it at 7845. So they get into the zone, resistance, rejected, pushed back down, volume's not there. They're going to have to regroup and try again. But what I was talking about with the guys, the folks there, not so much guys and gals, is they had this test of this low. They got under it, no volume, right? Back over it. A little reversal that suggested that no matter what happened in the Italian vote, this thing was going to try to push higher. And that's exactly what I told them over the weekend. So it looks like all of that happened. Everybody anymore is pretty much expecting that these political events are going to get bought. Central bankers are going to backstop anything. And that if you're anything about trading, you're going to be buying this stuff. And, you know, that's the way the market works, right? It gets you to the point where you believe that's what's going to happen, and then they change the tune on you. You know, it's musical chairs, and they take 2 chairs away instead of 1, and they leave you hanging. I don't know when that's going to be. I'm sure it will come up at some point. But right now, you know, the whole scenario anymore is you get a push down into a political event, buy it, right? Because that baby's going to pop. Same thing here. Push down into a political event, buy it. It's going to pop. This one was kind of a non-event, but still, same principle. That will change. Folks, it looks to me like you're gonna go sideways at best, maybe a little bit more of a push tomorrow. I think the key things to watch is the Russell and the Nasdaq. I think those are the ones that are going to tell you where you're going. Keep an eye on those. You get rollovers, especially in the Nasdaq. I think it's going to keep everybody else from moving, and that's the way it looks tonight. Have a great one. Thanks for joining me. Take care. I'll see you next time.